Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another video with me, Essex Hydra. Going to be going through a little bit of Chaosbane today, and we are in the land currently of the undead, specifically the dead Egyptians. We are in the land of the Tomb Kings. So let's get the show on the road, perhaps with a little bit of an expedition to show you some of the new models, some of the new units that we can smush, and, well, you can't really smush something that's made of bones, but crush, I guess. Crush and grind into a fine powder. We are going to be playing as the dwarf for a little while. Should be a little bit of fun. Aha! And here we have. Oh, okay. So a nice visual representation thus far. We have scarabs, we have scorpions, we have tomb guard, and we have a very angry-looking dwarf who's hopefully going to chop through lots of them. Let's go ahead and play our leapfrog build here. So basically, the aim of this build is just to leap up and down quite a lot. And we have, is that an Ushabt as well? That's quite exciting. Let's slowly make our way outside.
Let's give them a little respite.
Yeah, he's looking pretty boss. So this is one of the larger elite units. Let's continue our investigation through. I'm doing pretty well for health at the moment, so I'm a little bit overgeared, despite the fact that my damage seems a little bit lackluster, perhaps, but looking pretty good. So let's continue our investigation, see if there's something a little bit larger for us to try and take down. It might take a while, but let's have a little nose around. More scarabs, more scorpions. Again, not much of this is posing as much of a threat as it could, so I believe I'm somewhat overgeared for this. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. The left-clicking action doing some work. It's time to leapfrog my way to victory here. Oh, and an event as well. So, obviously this is an expedition. And, oh, hello, ranged Ushabt. So these guys, if I had Tyrion here beside me, I'm sure would be able to tell you that they have a ranged bonus against large creatures in Total War Warhammer 2. Fortunately, I am not large, except in circumference, for I am a dwarf. Let's see how long it takes for me to chop him down. Good lord, we could be here all goddamn week. Okay, I can't help but feel that there is a little bit of an issue with the damage output of this build. So what we're going to do is jump on out of this, because believe it or not, I've spent the last 10-15 minutes exploring this new area. And I think what we'll do now is we'll actually change to one of the other characters. Jump in again, because there's a few different biomes for this new area. Obviously they're all somewhat sandy. Let's go for Volon, because it's one of my more familiar builds. Tomb Kings again, please. And notice the coming soon there underneath. New chapter, new area, perhaps confirmed? Not exactly sure. So, we have a pistol. We have a charge ability. There we go. Blunderbuss or whatnot. Right, one more expedition. Then we'll go ahead and have a cheeky little peep at the boss. Should be interesting. So, let's have a look through. Aha, there we go. And speak of the devil, different biomes. Some more tomb guardians, or just ordinary skeletons, perhaps. They didn't last long enough to really get the title of a tomb guardian. Yeah, not really wearing enough armour either. So the archers seem to fire, yeah, up in the air for some sort of rain of death animation, which is pretty cool. Just having a little investigate of the current visuals. I think they look all right. I think they've done a fairly decent job of making the skeletons look reasonable for an ARPG setting. Fairly happy with that. Can't complain, at least. In terms of variety thus far, let's talk in terms of gameplay, because visual variety is nice, and don't get me wrong, this game sort of sorely needs visual variety, and it looks like this delivers a bit of that. Gameplay variety, that's a whole other thing, and this game definitely needed some of that too. They've obviously changed the skill trees to, or sort of expanded the skill tree system a little bit, still keeping to a fairly simple, approachable system, but now with a couple of different god trees per character, which is nice. Gives you a little bit more choice. Oh, okay. You die in one hit. Right, let's just continue to hunt around now and try and find something more interesting to take down. Humana, humana, humana. Okay, you're glowing red, but that's only for a quest. I don't actually think you qualify as interesting. Push you out the way. Miss Scoozy. Miss Scoozy. Housekeeping. Housekeeping. There we go. Right, we have Ushabt. So what's he going to do to me? Just looking at his animation. Okay, ranged attack. Nice. Again, I think I'm somewhat overgeared for this, so if you're thinking, well, this content looks rather easy, put the difficulty up. There's 10 chaos levels. You could die in one hit if you really want to. I just don't really want to highlight how bad I am. Okay, that's a bit lackluster. This pistol still is. It's just, why would you use anything else? 4 million damage. Right, let's just have a little bit more of a wander through. You can see the exit's down over there somewhere, so that would typically mean if we go round here, and we take a hard right in a second. Miss Scoozy, Miss Scoozy, Miss Scoozy, Miss Scoozy, down here. You can see the little glow there. You little... Oh, hello! Hello, so what are you? You're a Necrosphinx. That's pretty cool. Okay. So, how does he work? What's his thing? Oh, okay. So he has a sort of vortex mechanic. Other than that, he seems remarkably similar to the Jabberscythe. Yep. Remarkably. Okay. So he has a different coloured scythe. Hey, there we go. The familiar lateral attack. Oh, good lord. All that damage. 9 million! And I seem to have killed myself somehow. It's rather embarrassing. Okay, marvellous time to check out the boss. Let's give up here and move on to the new boss. If you ask me, is rather exciting. The game doesn't have that many, but, well, bosses are sorely needed for this game. In my view, the boss rush is one of the highlights. Unfortunately, and it's a little bit less than ideal. I had visions and hopes of being able to compete with friends in order to, you know, see if we could get on the leaderboard, etc, 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 and be crowned the best of the best. And there's a few builds that are just so better than anything else. I mean, as is the sort of the way of most ARPGs, but it's happened. It's got to the point where if you don't run a certain build, you couldn't even hope to dream of competing on it. It's a bit of a shame. I think that's why I've always had a little bit more of perhaps a soft spot for boss fights within MMOs. They seem a little bit better controlled. Seems more to do with group synergy than anything else. Right, so he has some form of flaming shield here. Now, we're not going to tell you how to do everything, but what I will do is point out the fact there is something orange on the right-hand side. So we're going to go ahead and investigate over here. Oh, hello. Some form of man here. I assume you were a man anyway. It's hard to tell without the genitals anymore. Right, now he's lost his shield. We have found a way to debuff the boss. Now the question is, which one does what? I would assume green would mean regen. Red would look threatening. So I would assume it is some form of damage reflect. Purely an assumption. So there's a green. Okay, he doesn't seem to be enjoying that much health regen. At least not enough to cope with a blunderbuss to the Physace. Oh dear, okay, and I've killed myself. Okay, so, well, perhaps I shouldn't really have been smack-talking him too much. Let's try that again. Start the boss fight again, whereas, yeah, it's not like I have too much choice. Perhaps the green buff does something else. Perhaps it murders me slowly over time. Right. So, just a straight bit of damage first to get the ball rolling. Try and avoid these overhead smash attacks. He seems to have a vortex as well. Very important to hit a boss with a blunderbuss if you should have one. Oh dear. Perhaps the additional friends he has are best used for... Oh, good lord. Oh, I was pressing the wrong button. I thought the one ability there was the ability that gave you health based on the amount of nearby enemies, but it's actually the break through the ranks. Okay, let's try again. Right. Try number 3, and after failing miserably, I will bid you all adieu and leave you to enjoy this content, which will be out imminently. Right, Quick check. I actually don't know what all of my abilities are. Such as my general scrubbery. I haven't really investigated each of the builds at all. This is not one of my own characters. Not that that's much of an excuse for being absolutely terrible. Okay. I like the fact we got things to dodge. He reminds me a little bit of the Slanesh boss. That's cool. Okay. Right, he still takes a lot of damage. That's something. Come on. I want to at least get him to the third wave, if I can. Stop that. Come on. Come on. Come on. I'm actually going to die. There we go. Oh, I thought that gave me infinite casting power. It does not. Okay, so he seems to be taking no damage at all now. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and waddle back up and see about debuffing him, I guess. Looks like a potential synergy situation for a few players to enjoy together. You go take the buff down. Oh, but I can't be bothered. It's so far away. Come on. There we go. Oh, and he keeps his buffs. Right, well, I guess we should probably go ahead and deal with that before he becomes more powerful than we can possibly imagine. Fairly straightforward. Right. He still has one. Now, what's this shield in the middle do? Perhaps we should try and defeat the thing on the right before this fills up. I think that would be my guess, at least. Okay, that didn't really seem to be particularly effective. Is this an enrage timer? I guess we'll find out pretty soon. Nope, never mind. Ah, no, that's when he gets his next buff. Wunderbar. Right. Certainly a more interesting fight, he says as he runs away and dies. Yeah, I think there's something to perhaps work at within there. Guys, we're going to call it there for today. A little bit of a showcase of the new boss, my first attempt at him at least. So, looks interesting, a couple of mechanics to get the hang of, and probably I was doing things completely wrong. But new content looks alright, a few visual changes at least, some visual variety to add into things. I'm fairly happy to see that. No new gear, unfortunately. I think gear would probably help this game no end, as well as any mechanics which can kind of increase that depth of customization. But then again, is the game even aiming for that? For me, the game still sits on my shelf as one of those... I've got a friend over and do you fancy playing an ARPG for a little bit? We'll make a new character and have a bit of fun together. For me, that's where this game sits. It's not going to be a Diablo killer. It's going to be doing its own thing. Guys, have yourself a great day. Hope you enjoy the content. Feel free to hang around because we're probably going to be doing a little bit more on the Blood Bowl 2 within the next week, as well as more time. We're going to have both seasons starting again fresh in January, perhaps even a couple more matches in between. Guys, have yourself a fantastic week. Have a fantastic Christmas too, and I'll see you next time.